guys, it's Kelly Harris here from KDS Keltech. This next video is going to be a brief overview of polishing a very tricky car. The car in question, let me turn around, this is McLaren Senna. So the tricky areas are these tiny little areas that are marked. So what I have in readiness is a small nano machine. I have a head cam. I have a GoPro there to show and talk about the different size pads and attachments. I've got the usual camera following me. It's set up where wherever I go, it follows me, as you can see. So I'm going to turn this back around to myself. So the purpose of this video, zoom out, is again, like I just said, is a brief overview on how these defects happen. I'm going to show you with the sun gun, the light source, this light source, portable light source, defects in these small, tiny little areas. It's more of a, let's say, a quick overview, just generalisation of why these areas in such a car like this take so long to deal with and tackle with. So Miguel has so far gone over all the big flat areas, all these larger flat areas, and then we've got all the intricate little areas left to deal with. So it'll be all the smaller, tiny, tricky areas. There are going to be some areas, there's right down in there, that possibly a machine or you physically can't fit. Either I can't fit in there on a machine. So it'll be an interesting task. I'm going to start up the recorders. So I'm going to start both GoPros up. So I'm going to start with somewhere simple along this area here. So this area, there is all defects. So let me pick up a camera and show you. Actually, do you know what I'll do? I'll get my mobile phone. Why not get the phone? So I can zoom in very easily. So we're dealing with these defects, which again, as I said earlier, what they are is just leftover polishing marks, rotary buffer line, holograms. So let me zoom out, so I'll move slowly. So I'm going to tackle these small areas now. So I have the iBird Nano. I have it in a dual action format. I'm going to go with a small pad. This is a Lake Country microfibre cutting pad. I'm going with the most suitable pad for the task. There'll be a more in-depth video on the Lake Country pads in the future, and all the different sizes, uses of when, where, why, what. So we've put the blue masking tape on there to indicate. I'll leave that one there because that's that top edge. I will double check. Correct, there's a top edge there, it's all dull. So what I'm going to do now, obviously the carbon echoes, it's so thin and hollow. When we're polishing, it does make quite a lot of noise. So why haven't I masked this edge up? Because it's a DA, it's a dual action. As you saw earlier in a different video, or sorry, in this video you saw earlier, that's because it's not rotating. When I put my hand up against it, there's no harm being done to the edge. So I can use that to my advantage. And it's got a lovely flush microfibre pad. It's actually quite new pads, very new. You'll see very quickly how this particular cutting compound with a Lake Country microfibre heavy cutting pad is going to fix those defects with relatively ease. Now this edge here, if that was a rotary or even this plastic edge was rubbing, we could mask it up. So what I'll do, I will actually mask this area up. I don't really need to, because you can see there, it's not clashing, it's not corroding, there's actually no witness mark on there. But for this case, what I'll do, I'll just demonstrate. I'll wipe that compound off. So to mask up, I could literally run a piece of tape all the way along, down through that edge, lifting it, realigning it to follow the shape I want. Nice and quick, nice and easy, gives you a little protection edge. And go back to polishing around this edge. So you can see now, actually the pad's more than half the size, sorry, the area I'm polishing is less than half the size of the pad, or the pad's twice the size. So don't get done in too much about that not all the pad is in contact. Or, noticeably, you see that it's not rotating. You can see quite clearly there that the pad is not going round at all, but it's still polishing. It's a very huge misconception in this trade of the dual action machine, how it must rotate. It is not really a dual action machine, it's a random orbital polisher, and I'm going to stand by that because I can prove that over and over again. Look, it is not rotating now. Right this minute, it's not rotating. So I'm going to stop down to that masking tape down in there. Not that that masking tape is a stop sign, it just happens to be very convenient where I can swap and go the other side to polish from the other direction. So what we'll do, we'll wipe it down, just gently, just fold the cloth. I'm thinking of, obviously I put the cloth down there, and the vehicle's very, very clean. It's obviously been polished and wiped down as we go. But what I can do now is check with a light. So what I'm going to do, and yep, so there's a bit of residue there. It's fine. So what I can show you now, I'll get my mobile phone. I'll pick up the phone and take a little video recording. So I'll zoom in slightly. You can see it's a lot clearer, but yet to be refined. Move on to the next area. So I will take the tape off down to there, because I need to polish the area, that's why that tape's there. And now what I'm going to do is polish this tiny little edge here. So it's actually a lot less of an issue, but there is an issue. So you know what, I'll take the tape off there, as I've got to go right around that curve. I'll take the tape off there. I know how far I'm going down around there, because obviously the end of that tape is where I stopped, so I'm going to mask a little bit of tape. So hopefully be aware, imagine how long it's going to take, time span on this vehicle, doing all these tiny little intricate areas in comparison to another supercar, hypercar, but a very, very, very flat supercar, a Lamborghini. What I'm going to do is go down this edge. Obviously it's a very, very simple area. Again, I'm going to put a tiny bit of compound on there, because obviously it's a very small pad. I'm going to rub it in, simply because it's obviously not going to prime. What you could do is just do that, spot, and then start it up. And notice I've got a number one speed, and it's not rotating. So it's doing its job at one of the lowest speeds, and the pad's not going round. So all you ever hear is how the machine's got to be up at number 5 or 6, it must rotate. When in fact, I don't believe that one little bit. And obviously this is proving it here, because the amount of cutting, and we've got this on the smallest size dual action throw. They do actually have a much larger offset dual action throw there. So at the moment I've got it on the smallest option. So it's the smallest cut, the lightest cut option. Then I won't talk about what throw it is and when you use it in this video, because that could be a topic, many topics, many playlists for the future, because the subject is quite vast. I would not want to skip over it and briefly talk about it now. I'd rather do it in more in depth, because I think that's the best way to teach. So be aware of the masking tape can have a sticky edge, and it then leaves a sticky mess as you wipe it. It's not the end of the world, but like when it grabs the edge there, so it can be a little bit of a pain. So I'm quite confident it's polished. I know my clothes are clean. They're actually very, very clean and just been washed and tumble dried. I've changed my clothing regularly. I don't wear these clothing you see with all these belts and harnesses and pits where you clip things in, basically like a builder's belt. I do see detailers wearing those type of clothing. I don't want to wear that clothing. I want to be able to lean very, very carefully and gently onto the car. Such an example like this, when I want to polish. I want to polish over here, I want nothing in my pockets, I want no sharp edges, I want no zips, I want no buckles, no belts. I just think it's the correct thing to do, it's common sense. So, what I'm going to do is check that area again. That's fine, absolutely fine. So, I had an area up at the top, so let me get my camera just to show you again. It's funny how I call it a camera when it's a phone. So all that we've got at the moment is this dullness to it now, but it's been polished. There's a very slight dullness, haze in the bulb, very, very slight, which is going to be refined later. So we have another area. I have this area. Now this is an interesting area, because if you look with this machine, it's going to collide there, and it's going to get really close in there, but it might fit. So there is an option there where I could use a rotary on an extension pole. So let me go and get an extension pole. I'll show you what I mean. So I have an extension pole, and basically I can put that down in there, screw it to the polisher, and it gives me the ability to polish in there. So that's an option. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to stick with the machine I've got because it's doing the job perfectly well. So there's areas in there that are going to be perfect for this machine. So as look, you can see now, I don't know if you can hear it, it's creaking as I touch it and you lean on it, and I'm hardly leaning. It's very, very lightweight and very flimsy. You can hear it all cracking. To give you an idea how flimsy the car is, look, that is unbelievably flimsy carbon fibre. So let me get down there with my head cam and show you. I am hardly pushing on that. Look, listen to it. This is not going to be great in any light impact. You'd want to know your car is completely and utterly protected after what we're doing here, which it will be, of course. So I could go to the bigger pad in here and the bigger backing plate. So do you know what? Let's show you how I do that. Why not? It's very easy. You got a little tool here. So this little tool, you lock it in there. So let me show you on both cameras. You just unscrew it. We've got a bigger backing plate here. So you can see this tool's quite great for it. It's purposely made. Swap it over. Lock that again. Actually, it's a good time to show you the counterbalance. How it's the offset. I know that's the smallest offset they do. As I said before in other videos, we're spoilt with all these lovely tools and gadgets. We never used to have any of these in the past, and these sort of areas are hand cut or left. Now we have the luxury of little tiny lake country pads, microfibre technology, different compounds. So I'm going to rub this in just so it doesn't splatter, and it primes the pad up. There you go, back to polishing this area. And now that does fit, so I'm hitting that larger area in one go. So this is when, if I wasn't recording this, I guess you could have headphones on. I used to always wear headphones. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, I run a business. It's quite a busy business, so I hate being disturbed, but obviously if I had headphones on, I would not be able to hear people asking me questions and coming up. More importantly, on a car like this, I wouldn't hear if there's a cracking noise, I'm leaning on something, or if the machine's clattering against an edge of a delicate edge. So you lose the sense of hearing. So I stopped using headphones years ago, really, because it's not, unprofessional is the wrong word, but I need to know, one of my senses, that on a car like this, that there's nothing untoward happening. And so I've got the sense of hearing and the sense of touch and the sense of my sight. I've got 3 senses, which is what I adopt when I'm wet sanding as well. When I'm wet sanding, I always say to people I don't like using machines. Again, that could be another video. Anyone that's been a training course with me will know why I don't like using sanding machines. There's a lot of detailing companies that do. There's a lot of people that promote it, say it's their best sanding ever. I could prove over and over again why it's not the best way of sanding, but it's the fastest. But it's not, I will repeat, the best way of sanding. The best way of sanding, unfortunately, is the slowest way. But then I have my senses again. I have the touch. I can hear if there's dirt, contaminants when I'm sanding, and I can also see it and I can feel it. With a machine, I can't feel it, I can't hear it. I can only see it afterwards. So that is lovely and clear. So you can see now that that pad won't fit in there. It does there, but not there, and smaller there. So obviously it makes sense. I'm going to go down through in there first, in through there first, and there, and then I'll swap to the smaller pad. So you do need to clean these pads. They will get clogged. As soon as they get clogged, the performance really drops off. You start getting dusting, sling, slurry, I've said before. Again, that's a different video. I will show how to clean them, what you do. So you can see I can actually get a really long way down in that flute. I can get right past where we've masked, so that's all right, that's going to work well. So without this machine, you may not even be able to see where that machine's going. I can, I'm not sure of the head cam. I'm going to tilt my head at different angles and tip it up and down just to show you that I'm refining. Now, you could ask yourself, is this necessary? Of course not. If you buy a car like this and you really enjoy your cars and you just spent near on £1 million, the cost for us to rectify all these defects and then protect the vehicle as well, which we'll talk about on a completely different video, you're protecting your investment, and why wouldn't you want it the best it possibly can be? Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be people that it doesn't bother them, but there are people that don't see the value in this, whereas many people do. I think if you was educated and explained and shown how good or bad your car is, and essentially how bad it is from the factory, you would be inclined for an exceptionally small percentage of the total cost of the vehicle, and that's what you've got to look at it like. The cost for doing this sort of job is absolutely minuscule in comparison to the running costs of such a car and just the purchasing costs of such a car. But this is actually very good value. Hopefully you're understanding now and realising how long all of this type of work takes, because it's a massively labour intensive process. You can see it's going to be very, very long-winded. Just want to check in there. You can see why I've got this small little scan grip now. I like the fact it's rubberised. It's a safe, nice safe torch to use. So let's see if that's compound down in there. Residue or not. So I've got lots of staining and lots of cleaning still down in that area there where the radiators exit. You can hear I'm very carefully leaning on the vehicle and it's cracking and creaking all over the place. I'm probably going to be many hours just doing these small little areas, all these little intricate areas. I'll pick this camera up to explain what I've just been doing and polishing. So I've just been polishing down in these flutes. I've got these tiny little intricate areas still to do. Let's go around there. I've got all these little intricate areas. There's all these tiny bits, which has been masked where we can't get with the big machine. So it's all these little areas. And you can imagine down in the diffuser, that is an absolute nightmare. So you can see why we have so much time involved. But the bulk of the car has now been polished. It's all looking lovely. So that concludes this little short video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me take the head cam off. I've probably got a mark on my head. Yes, I have. So thank you for watching. As always, it's Kelly Harris from KDS Keltec signing out. Goodbye.